Hello there DCS Pilots YouTube, and a very warm welcome to returning subscribers of the channel. Today we're going to be taking the Apache out versus the largest unit in the game, the SeaWise oil tanker. Some of you may ask, why use the Apache on a mission like this? Surely this is one mission that is best left to the jets that are capable of carrying the big bombs. Normally I would agree with you, however there was a little mishap at base earlier on, less said about it the better, and that leaves the Apache. Besides, it's a bit of fun and we can see just how well this thing performs. Well, the wheels will be nice and clean when we come back, that's for sure. It's going to be a standard loadout with the Apache. I've got 300 rounds in the cannon, 8 Hellfire Missiles and 2 pylons with the rockets, giving us a total of 38. There were a few things that surprised me during the making of this video. Firstly, how well the Apache did blew me away, and secondly, the order of damage that the weapons were able to achieve was a bit of a mixed bag. Some of them I was expecting more from, and some of them that I wasn't really expecting much did really well. And so with that out of the way, if this sounds like it might be of interest, strap in because we're about to go SeaWise Tanker just off R12, slightly to the left there, making a run for it, and we're going to make a run and chase them down. Surprised me is how easy some of these weapons are to use. To begin with, the Apache looks so complicated, and then given just a little bit of time, it's actually really easy. And I think what it is it's one of these aircraft that were made very, very easy to do all the basics. So if you had to do something, it was easy to do, but it had a lot of depth within the system, so that if you wanted to do a lot of planning ahead of time and so on and so forth, it also allowed you to do that despite the simplicity. In any case, enough babble, let's come in here. So we've got the weapon page. Let's switch to the there we go. We've got rockets, we've got gun, man range. Let's get auto in. Bang. No limitation on the rounds that we can shoot. I've tried skimming the water. My advice is to you that want to try the same, don't, unless you're in a hover, then of course you can, but just don't. A lot of ground effect here, which is nice. Hopefully this will help me on the way out. Come on, before I come into contact with the island, ideally. Wow, the more I... Whoa! Okay, I was not expecting the water to behave like rubber, but it did. All right, descending down onto the ship. Nice speed there. Let's begin firing. There we see it starting to cause some damage to the ship. You can see the little sparks on the ship as well. Let's leave it there. So we've caused about 12% damage with almost 200. Let's finish off these last remaining rounds. Some of them missing there, never mind. Okay, couple missing. So look at that. If we account for the rounds that have missed, we're basically talking 20% damage with 300 rounds on the cannon. So you might think, no, what you really want to be using is the Hellfires versus the tanker. And I agree, at least that's what I thought, right? So I switch over here to the Hellfire rounds. I think this is going to be easier for me to do from the gunner's seat. We've got the weapons here. Master arm, of course, seems to be shared between the two cockpits. So let's just remove the safety cover. And all that remains now is for me to control the TADs. I'm going to get rid of this overlay because it's annoying, at least I find from the gunner's seat, for most activities. Let's swing her around now. There we go. Okay. So here's the target. And we've got the Hellfire selected. So I'm going to zoom in on target. Start my lasing and she's ready to fire, indicating about 3,700 meters. So let's go for it. And Hellfire is away. Interestingly, is if you take the Hellfire, I'm now steering my stick. Look what happens as I steer my stick. That's just, that's fun. A fun point there. But you know what? Because of we're messing around, we missed. So let's just focus on the task at hand now. And there's the first hits. Look at that, 19%. Well, weren't we already about 19%? Firing again. And again. That one caused about 4% damage. That one about 3. That one about 4. That one about 3. 4 again. So I think it's probably safe to say that these Hellfires, each one of them caused exactly 3.5% damage. And we're just getting the BDA here, rounding the damage up to the nearest percent. So it's counting 3, then 4, then 3, then 4. And it's done that the whole time.
Coming right.
And fire it once more. Fire. Oh, we've got no missiles left. Okay, so let's take a look on the map here. And we can see a whole magazine of cannon together with all the Hellfires, of which one missed, granted. So we've got 7 Hellfires and a magazine causing, I would say that's looking about, at best case, 50% damage. And you could argue with that extra Hellfire, it would be 50%, maybe a touch more. Rockets are in, and this time let's just do 2x2. And once again, range, auto, okay. Safety cover off. So how much damage? Look how much damage those rockets do. That's insane.
Radar, 10 o'clock, searching.
Look how much damage. Wow. I knew these rockets were good. Got a test video coming up just showing how good they are. I'm gonna guess that they're gonna be nerfed because that's just ridiculous. And she's down. Oh no, tiny bit of health left. Question is, would that health end itself? You know, the interesting thing is rockets used to be the worst weapon in game. And it turns out that they're the best. And of course I say that and the thing ain't dying now. I think it's because I'm too close. Did a little bit of research on these rockets. They take a minimum distance to deploy properly.
2 o'clock, searching. Rotor RPM low. Rotor RPM low.
Okay, that should be distance enough. Bang, bang. There, she's gone. Right, we've got to try this time to land on ship before she sinks.
Rotor RPM.
I mean, she is classed as an enemy ship, but that shouldn't affect our ability to land on it. Coming in hot. Come on, come on. I think we're going to make it this time. Here's the helipad, got a big hole through it, but I'm sure it's just a texture. Isn't it, Ed? Yep, it's just a texture. Look at that, we've landed on a ship that doesn't exist anymore because we've killed it. And she's going to start sinking any moment. What do I call the video? Landing on a ship I've just destroyed. There she goes! Look at that, it's very steady, staying on the ship. But I don't think I'm going to live much longer if I don't change things quick, so adding on the power. And the helipad is no more. Look at those water effects though. Pretty cool is that. Now I have very, very little wind on, like literally a knot or two, so that's why the waves are very little. Would be nice to see a few more waves because I live by the sea, and let me tell you, even when there's no wind, there are waves all the time. And sometimes you have big waves with little wind, and sometimes you have little waves with big wind. Here's the time someone tells me it's something to do with the moon and the tide and this and that, and I'm just going to say, I don't know. There doesn't seem to be much rhyme nor reason to it. That much I will say. See, one of the things I would thought was living here that if the tide is in and it's caused by the moon because the moon's pulling the sort of water around with its gravitational pull or whatever it is, then if the moon's on this side of the earth, surely it's pulling all of the water to this side. But if you look at the tide times around the UK, and the UK is not really that big, certainly with respect to the world, the tide times are all different. And I'm not just talking a few seconds, I'm talking literally opposite ends of the day. And so it's not really as easy to explain away as it might first appear. That said, though, they've had they've been able to predict it forever. As far back as I can see, they've been able to predict it. Let's have a little dunkage into the water then. And as we get towards the end of another video, just want to quickly add that, Adrian, I really hope you're enjoying your Apache. That was, of course, the first one given away. The second one went to somebody with a Russian-looking name, but don't actually think it was. Might have been called Martin. Not sure. Certainly his videos were written in English. I've tried contacting you through YouTube and through the comment systems, and you haven't got back to me. So I'm going to have to be a little cruel here and say that if you don't get back to me within the next 2 or 3 days, I'm going to have to offer it to somebody else. And so with that out of the way, until next time, wherever in the world you may be, take care and good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night.